All right, hey Scott, out here at the house. Zach is inside doing his tour as well. Just wanted to start on the exterior. You can see a plane actually flying over. You might be able to hear that as well. Not far from the Colorado Springs Airport, and it looks like we are kind of in that aviation path. Just a heads up there. But yeah, quick look around at the neighborhood here. Super easy proximity to base, as I'm sure you've kind of seen on the map. Looking out that way, you can see the mountain range. So Pikes Peak is going to be probably behind those trees right there, and everything west. But yeah, I wanted to start on the outside. Nice curb appeal, but you do have some settling going on here. As you can kind of see, you're going to get some water pooling because it actually does kind of slope downward there. And it's pretty significant of a belly there. Because you can see again low spot, high spot on the counter side, and then again over here on this side. The VA can call those out when the lip is bigger than, I believe, 2 inches is their new metric. And as you can see, and they just say that because it could be a tripping hazard. So something to be aware of there. And then you do have kind of a lip going into the garage, sliding my foot. You can see the separation there, a little separation out front here. And then again, that's probably a good inch gap on that side. A little bit of deterioration in the concrete here. Again, these are small things on this side that we're looking at, but VA, when it comes to an appraisal, they have certain standards that must be met as far as the condition of the property. And that could be chipped and peeling paint, torn screens, cracked windows, various things like that. And again, that is what we're seeing here. So not to say you can't buy the house. It's just if the VA comes out, does their appraisal, and then calls that out as a condition, it would need to be fixed prior to closing in order for them to fund the loan. Okay, so a little bit of landscaping touch-ups, not too bad there. You can see a little bit more peeling paint there, and then actually right there, I can try and zoom. You can see some hail maybe got to that trim piece. Kind of some paint touch-ups, and you'll see it's kind of the story of this one. Again, definitely, got some nice attributes, but looks like some of the work was maybe some DIY, and just kind of needs some touch-up cosmetically here and there. You can see some separation on the hinge here with this wood piece. Some patchwork on the wall here. Might be a little bit harder to see, but patchwork right in there. Got a coat closet to the right here. Nice high vaulted ceilings. Bay windows letting in some good light. So again, you do have some torn screens as we were talking about with appraisal things. Again, very easy fix there, but definitely want to call those out. So granite countertops in here. Looks like most of the appliances have been updated. Microwave's older. There's that. Okay, dishwasher here. These windows look in good shape. Again, paint touch-ups. Even just all the way through, it looks like there was a different color of paint originally, and it's kind of gone through a couple of different cycles there. Backyard space, so you can see some deterioration on the trim there. This is what's called negative grading that would come out on the inspection. Again, not going to hold up a deal, but you're going to have that. You're missing a downspout extension on that, so that water is going to pool there, and you can see the erosion already kind of coming into play. Slope of the yard, all that water and potential snow melt is going to run towards that corner. Fencing could use some repairs. So you can see kind of falling over in that corner there. And then I'll have to look back and see if when the home was purchased the last time, if this deck and that patio or deck cover was on there. If not, then I would want to check to see if it's new since the most recent purchase, which it looks like there's a lot of kind of construction materials around. I'd want to pull the permits from the regional building department to make sure this was permitted as well, because some things I'm not so sure about. I mean, you still have stickers on some of the lumber there, so just something to be aware of. Some trim damage here. I like the butcher block countertops on these. That's really cool. Nice wine cooler there. Not sure if you've seen these shades before, but the actual blinds are in between the two window panes. So nice product there. Obviously don't have to dust that. Don't worry about it getting tripped up by a kiddo or a dog and damaged, things like that. It's pretty cool. So carpet, definitely on the older side. Pretty worn down and frayed, as you can see in several places here. There's damage here and there. Nice space down here. That is a huge sectional. Do have the overhead ceiling fan here. But you might, yeah, looks like it's showing up in the video. Definitely some patch and paint work right in this section here. Could have been a leak. I believe there's a bathroom or two up there, which I'll certainly point out there as well. But it could have come from that. Then you have garage area. Looks like they're doing some work out here. So of course we want to make sure contract is tight and that they'll get all this out by closing. Just to free up the space in here. Lots going on. But other than that, good space. So you do have some drywall damage here, or sheetrock rather, but you can see the insulation and everything going on up there. So yeah, I'm curious what's going on. And then flooring, again, just kind of signs of DIY jobs throughout. Same thing with the paint here. Carpet, same story down here. Several stains, just on the older side in general. Washer dryer look really new. Every house is going to be a little bit different as far as whether those stay or go. Those kind of depend on seller preference. Outside of that, most appliances stay 9 times out of 10. But again, washer dryer is kind of a 50-50, but I can let you know that up front in the MLS based on how they structured that. So you do have a water softener here, but as you can see, there's quite a bit of buildup, calcium buildup. So I'm trying to get it to focus. So it looks like they haven't used it in a long time, or haven't at least had it serviced or cleaned. You got some meters. Here is your water heater. Can't quite read the date on that from a regional building department, but certainly looks like it's on the older side there. Looks good, no corrosion up top. That's probably towards the end of its life expectancy. And here's your furnace, same thing here. Again, I can check regional building on these, but this looks like it might be original, just based on what I'm seeing here in front of me. And then you can see, of course, yellow is always gas, so gas is going to the water heater. Then we follow the pipe, and that comes down into the furnace. So both are being ran on gas. Okay, then you have bedroom across the way here. Shoot, another patchwork. Didn't see this one on the initial walkthrough, but pretty significant one. They just kind of took some mud and threw it up on there and made a mess, and unfortunately didn't get around to retexturing that one. Got some missing trim pieces here. Looks like maybe a smoke detector that should have been there. Again, just little things pretty much throughout. Needs a recocking there. And then down here, noticed maybe some signs of mold. I don't want to speak to that too highly. Of course, we could do a mold test, but as you can kind of see as I zoom in on those, could be signs of some growth, and you can see that kind of coming up in a handful of different spots, and that's probably the biggest one. Okay. We have 2 more bedrooms down here. Pretty good size. This notes that it will be replaced. You can see it's totally off the tracks here. Looks like they do have a radon mitigation system, which is nice to see. Radon's very common for the area, but it is an easy fix. So this one is garden level. As you can see, you got some nice light coming in here. Another patch spot right here, so quite a few on this one. Okay, a little bit of paint got on the door here. You can see some drips there as well. And then it looks like for the wiring, they kind of drilled a handful of random holes when they were kind of fishing that through. I'm not sure what these are for. I'm sure something with maybe the gaming system at one point at least, or some shelves. But yeah, those are fixed into the wall there. Screwed in. So good size linen closet here, storage. And then kind of some fading on the paint on the door here. This is a nice vanity. That looks like it's been recently installed. Tile looks on the older side, probably original there. Again, just kind of some different weird patchwork all the way throughout, you can see. Another one up here. I mean, it's almost in every room. Okay, another bedroom up here. This is where you start to get some views opening up. Again, kind of looking southwest towards Shine Mountain and Carson out that way. Standard closet here. And I would imagine this was a kiddo's room that was into ballet, because it looks like this is fixed to the wall here. See another patch. Another bedroom here. And then you can tell kind of a iffy paint job on this here, just getting that. You can see it's kind of blotchy. Looks like they installed a lock actually here too. Okay, and look, this looks like it was added after the fact, but you can kind of see some different pieces moving around here. And then they had a sign, yeah, new baseboards coming. So you can see some separation there. This one's not flush. Some separation on this side. Okay, well, I think that about does it. So I'll get this over to you ASAP and then here for any questions.